Hello, 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 hello. Hello, everyone. How are we doing today? I hope you are well, and thank you for joining us again. I want to say to all of those who are are tuning in from other countries. I know some of you have said to me, which I mentioned yesterday. So it might be good morning where you are. It might be good afternoon and good evening. So I want to welcome you to our next live show. Welcome to the Verna Hayward live show. And what we are talking about, I have Carolina who will be joining me in a little while. And today's topic is about um, preventative measures for domestic abuse. It's a it's a topic that is worth talking about because when you think about the statistics that how much women are being hurt, men as well. I mean, I'll give you a little statistics a little bit later, but it's something that we need to highlight because we see it all the time. We see that women are being abused. They and women are abusers as well as men are abusers. So we don't want to look at it from one point of view, but we want to be real about it. We want to talk about it in a way that we create awareness and we look for ways of how we can prevent it, but also look at ways of how we can help the abuser. Maybe the abuser is not, maybe they're not aware of there being an abuser, or something is triggered. So we just need to look at it. So I just want to say thank you and to tell you a little bit about myself and why it is I created this 30-day challenge to talk about these subjects, talk about these matters because they are close to my heart. They are close to my heart because I experienced it and I knew what I had to do to come out of it, to get away from it, just as with cancer. So these are the things that I talk about and how to regain our power, to take our power back. And that's the thing that we are talking about. How can we stand and how can we prevent ourselves from falling into these things because there are red flags. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Carolina on so she can introduce herself again and briefly, and then we will go straight into the topic because it's a big topic and it will take time for us to really get into it. So it may be something we have to revisit, but we have spoken about different types throughout our conversation on different subjects when we spoke about other things like setting boundaries and stuff like that. So we will dive into that a little bit more, but we want to talk about preventive. What can we do to prevent? Carolina.
Hi, hello, good evening. My name is Carolina Ceballos. Thank you so much, Verna, for having me on today. I'm a
Welcome.
business and life coach, and I've been exploring so many different subjects with Verna, which we both have experience and also that are helping our communities with. So, in our community, we help the single parent household to live a better, balanced life. We particularly work with single, divorced, and stressed, fully like stressed, depressed, anxious parents who have pretty much given up and are ready to make a change for their lives and for their families. So that's the people who we are working with. Please do follow our pages and refer anybody that needs this kind of help. Obviously, please follow Verna and everything in the work that she's also doing. We have very common goals as well, and it's mainly to support the community and to get out of feeling stuck and moving forward. Thank you.
Okay, we haven't even yet started, and we have a comment here from Shelley Kimberly. It's quite long. So yes, I don't know. I'll put it across to see whether you can see it. It's quite long. So
Wow.
yeah. So just so that they we Shelley we acknowledge. Oh, Sha. I hope I can pronounce it properly. Shaeli, Kimberly. So we want to honor you, and we want to honor what you are saying. So we thank you for joining us. We thank you for being here, and we appreciate you. We will look at what you have said. So we would look at those things, and then we can maybe have some connection whereby we can talk about this a little bit further in another um, area. Okay. So again, as we spoke about, so are you okay with that?
Yes.
I'll just move that for now. Yeah. So as we said, it's about giving, having that preventative. Um, so we need to know what to say and how to say it and what to do. Unfortunately, sometimes people go through different circumstances in their lives. It is not right for anyone to abuse another person, and it doesn't matter. Abuse, not no form of abuse is good. And we need to stop it in its tracks the moment we recognize it. And sometimes red flags are there and we ignore those red flags. And it's something we should not ignore red flags. So how can we prevent measures of domestic abuse? Number one, we recognize the signs. So I'm just going to talk about these and then we can come in, Carolina. So we have recognize the signs, build support network, educate yourself and others, create a safety plan, and seek professional help. We also have things that we steps that we can take to encourage the abuser to get help. But we'll focus on the preventative measures for now first. What do you think, Carolina? Just think.
Yeah.
Yeah?
No. Yeah. Let's go through the whole one by one. It sounds good.
Yeah. So recognizing the signs, what do you understand when we say recognize the signs in domestic abuse? I'm going to ask you if you have ever experienced it or if you have seen somebody who experienced it. I know for me, I recognize a sign, but I just thought, it was I was seeing things. I was not, what I was seeing wasn't true. You know what I mean? Because again, I want to be authentic and to be upfront. We were both believers. We both went to church. We both were involved in the church and in choir and everything like that. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing and the behavior. So that was like a shock to me, when we are in Christ. So I don't want to brush it under the carpet to make you feel that these things don't happen. They do happen, and sometimes it is kept under the carpet or under the radar. And I want to be authentic and bring it up. But we should never, 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 under any circumstances, do that. And sometimes you think that because you are getting older and all your friends are having children, you think, okay, life is going to pass me by because everybody's telling you your body clock is running out, your bloody clock is going down. And I was hearing those things and it's like, oh, well, I have to, you have to do that. You don't have to do anything. The only thing you have to do is die. And so that's a must. That's going to happen. Okay. So once you recognize the sign, you have to take action. So, as I mentioned, Caroline, I don't know if you have been through it or if you know somebody who have been through it and you have recognized some signs. What did you do?
Well, this is a very sensitive subject, I think, but it's so common.
Hmm. It is.
Research shows that in women, at least, it's 1 in 3 of us who have
Hmm.
suffered it, and in men, I believe it's 1 in 5. So it's quite a common. It's everywhere around us. And as the lady commented just before when we started, she says, "Why is there so many of them?" Uh, it's
Yeah.
precisely that we are just so involved in this behavior that sometimes we don't recognize it, and sometimes we don't recognize it till it's too late.
Yeah.
I have both been abused, and also I've been working with clients who have had all types of abuse. And it's like I say, I think just depending on the culture you come from, some cultures are a bit more accepting than others. Coming from South America, you know, before we women had a bit more of a voice, um, we just weren't allowed to say anything. Women were supposed to just be in the kitchen, in the bedroom, and looking after children. And kind of that's kind of the mentality we grew up with. Even myself, you know, I to the point when once I came to this country, I thought, oh, there's a difference between the thinking from back home to Britain. And it's such a shame because there like I said, we're just told to live, and that it's your place as a woman and you have to take it. And there's a really bad saying in my country, whatever my husband does, um is it goes. In Spanish it's something like, if he beats me, if he kills me, he's my husband. And that's a saying that we're very openly grown up around. And you could
Mhm.
imagine we just trained in a way to accept these sort of behavior. I know you're going to go into what domestic abuse is in a little bit more, but you know, there's a lot of gaslighting, there's a lot of emotional manipulation, there's financial manipulation where you're not even allowed to spend, or you're restricted from seeing family, from seeing friends, from going out, from how many times you're on your phone or who's messaging you. All of these little behaviors lead to the bigger sorts of abuse that we'll be discussing more in this chat.
Yeah, so for as I said, recognizing the signs. So some of the signs that you would recognize, they will include, like Carolina said, will be like your phone, but you also have the physical of violence, because you talk about the financial. You have the physical, you have the emotional, and you have threats, and those controlling behavior, as you said. Okay, so you have that financial manipulation, as was said before. So you have to recognize the signs. And when you recognize the signs, you have to take action, you know. And she's right when she said about, in South America, if my husband beats me or kills me, he's my husband. So the woman is just have to be silent. She has no voice.
Mhm.
Not anymore.
Mhm.
You were born with a voice and you're supposed to use it. And you're supposed to save yourself. That's why so many women stay in the relationship and they end up losing their lives,
Mhm.
because they have children and they think they can't do anything. I remember speaking some time ago to someone. They were recommending this person to come to me, and she went for help. I think is one of those safety houses. She went for help, and they refused her. And the reason for refusing her is because they think she had money, so she could go find somewhere else and leave the house. Now, I was kind of upset about that, because this person is going through a traumatic time,
Okay.
and where she would need people to embrace her and to take her in
Mhm.
and to be that support, she was being driven away.
Mhm.
And that upsets me, that they couldn't see the danger in that,
Mhm.
that she cannot live without her children. She cannot live without them, because she doesn't want to leave her children behind. And to find somewhere at that moment when she wants to leave, how could she find somewhere at that very moment except a shelter? And to deny her that, I felt that was painful. So sometimes, even some of the organizations that say they want to help, they don't. There was a gentleman as well, he called for help. And because most of the places are for female, they didn't even think about, okay, let me find you a shelter for men so I can recommend you. People, we have to do better than that. We really have to do better than that. Because if we want to stop the violence, if we want to stop the abuse, we have to come together. Yes, It's not good. Yes, it is terrible. It is bad. Yes, all of those things. But we don't need to add to it. We need to do something about it and see, okay, what actions can we take to bring the temperature down? You have anything to say to us, that?
Well, yeah, I think I just want to add on to what you just said. I think there is one that we did left out, and I know when I mentioned it, I said it's the next stages that it goes to, which would be physical abuse and also sexual abuse. I
Yeah.
won't go into them fully, but I do want to highlight a few of the basic ones that we always miss, which is emotional and threats, and it's things like being belittled, being put down, being blaming you and saying that there is no abuse, or that there's that you're just being over dramatic, downplaying abuse, isolating you
Mhm.
from your family and friends, which I've said, stop you from going to work, or stop you from going to college or to your normal classes, whether it's the gym, whether it's school, whether it's meetings, having that control, accusing you of flirting, of having affairs, telling you what to wear, who to see, where to go, what to think, controlling the money, monitoring all your social medias, your finances, your filtering through your photos. All of these little things are emotional abuse, and all of this I didn't even know. When I was in the relationship, I didn't even realize all of these things were building up to what was coming.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really important that to highlight, because most of us don't realize this. And I love the fact that you dive deeper into all these different subjects, but I just felt like I really wanted to put these out there and make others aware, like myself, who were completely clueless, that this is not okay, and that we are
Yeah.
allowed to just put
Yeah.
boundaries, put a stop, and
Yeah.
say no more.
Yeah, I'm glad you went into that because I remember there was a time when, I think I said it before in one of my previous talk, that when we talk about financial, opening a bank account together, I felt I didn't want to do it. And I remember going into the bank and his cousin was there and she said, "Don't do it. Don't do it. I know him. Don't do it." And I'm thinking, I know you do know him, but you're not living in the house. When I'm in trouble, you're not there to protect me, So you're very timid and you go ahead and you do it.
Yeah,
And I remember
exactly.
the moment the pay went into the account, he took it all out. I used to have to walk to work, and I mean, it was a long, so I used to have to leave home very, very early to get to work on time for 7. And sometimes I have nothing to eat. And if I cook, by the time I get home, everything is gone. Everything is gone. There is nothing for me. You understand? So there are just these things. It's almost as though if you spit on the ground, I have to, when work finish, I have to get home before that spit dry.
Mm,
I'm laughing now, but it was not a laughing matter, and it isn't a laughing matter. This is my way of keeping my sanity. I was how I had to keep myself up and be strong. But it is no laughing matter. And this is one of the reasons why I started this 30-day challenge, because I wanted to bring awareness and I
mm,
want you to know out there that you are not alone. And you need to see those things and you need to understand. Even if you see it before you get married, don't get married and think you're going to change it. You're
mm.
not going to
Oh,
change
that's one
anything.
of my
You
biggest lies
cannot
we
change.
tell
That's the biggest mistake you would make. This is what I did.
children.
Yeah. You cannot change anyone unless that person is willing to change themselves.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So don't make the mistake and say, "Oh, that will pass." No, 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 no. It
Mm,
won't pass
very
because
true.
that's ingrained in them and they're going to carry on doing it, especially when they isolate you from
Mm,
your friends and your family and everything. We talk about that as well.
mm,
So when you see those behaviors, and if you know of someone who is going through that at this present moment, you really want to, be around them. You really want to help them in whatever way. You cannot tell them what to do, but if they ask you, you can give them the support that they need. We'll come into that. Um, Also, you're talking about when we talk about building support, so you have to have a strong support network around you. When you have that network around you, that is crucial. That network of friends and family, um, they form a community, and that community is there to uphold you, to keep you um, strong. So there's lots of different organizations that you can look to for help, but it is very, very important that you have people around you that you can trust. Did you find that was something that was important for you,
Oh,
Carolina?
100%. I don't think I would have been able to get the courage to finally be like, okay, there's no more,
Mhm.
until I was able to speak to the close people to me and get that support. Not
Yeah,
necessarily like, oh, leave and you have to escape. But just be like, I'm not going crazy, am I? Like I had to literally like bounce off somebody, like, this is what's
mhm.
happened. Is this okay? Like I was at that point where I wasn't able to recognize it anymore, what was okay and what wasn't. So once I started to say, you know, this happened and then this happened and then this happened, they were like, that's just not right. That's not normal. And that's when I was like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't even realize I had already gone down this whole spiral. And
Yeah,
yes, thankfully, my support network has helped. And I remember myself being a support to somebody else. Uh, they just needed a friend, and you know, all they needed was me to call them and just be like, "How are you doing? Are you okay? Did you eat? Did
mhm.
you shower?" You know, you forget even to shower, to comb your hair and brush your teeth when you're in that situation. Even a call, even going round with a container of food changes people's lives. It's so important, and that, oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the little things that we don't think about that will make a difference. Those little things make a big difference. They do make a big difference. So one of the things is that, as you said, you had to educate yourself. So even though you were seeing it, you were not aware because it became like, okay, that's normal. You didn't realize it was abnormal, but something was telling you this can't be right, and therefore you needed to seek someone's help to ask a question. So it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to seek help. So you have to learn about the different dynamics in domestic abuse. There are different dynamics, and you have to know it, and you have to share your knowledge. And that is what we are doing. We are sharing our knowledge because of our own experiences. I remember, he had to have surgery, and instead of going to the main hospital, he decided to have it in the private hospital. And so I was there, I was bathing him, I was doing everything, I was cleaning him and everything like that. And then I needed to go home to get some rest because I was sleeping, and I'm there 24/7. And one of his friends came to stay while I go get some rest. And as you said, it was an accusation that I was with this person. Now I'm in the hospital 24/7. How how is that happening? When is it happening? Am I going crazy?
my goodness.
You know? So they when somebody is a manipulator, they can switch it on you, and you start thinking, oh gosh, am I being so unreasonable?
Uh-huh.
But no, because they are good at manipulation. Manipulation. They are very good at it. And so you start to question yourself.
Hmm.
If you are wrong, and then you're thinking, no, I'm not wrong. But then still you are afraid to say anything because you are in the situation. So you have to be aware. Awareness is key. Awareness can help you prevent the abuse and ensure when people know about it, and people are there to support you. That's why you need to know the right people, trustworthy. You have to be trustworthy, and you have to know the right people. So you have to create a safety plan. Did you create a safety plan at all?
Well, I've definitely helped people to get out. I think one of the first times that I helped somebody, it didn't go well. And I really wanted to share this story because um, you really have to understand, like you say, educate yourself not only as the friend, but or as the counselor. But as the person who's been abused, as what could happen if they backtrack, because this person had reached out and said, "I'm ready to leave. I can't do this anymore. He's beating me, all of these different things." And as a friend, I was like, "Yes, I'm going to help you. I'm going to get you out. I'm going to pick you up at this time, and we're going to do this, this, and this." And we thought we had it all panned out. And in the end, they backtracked. And then they twisted it and said that I was the one taking them out and I was forcing them out. And I realized that I hadn't fully educated myself in everything that happened or could happen, because then I became the bad person in the story. And obviously that wasn't the case. I was just trying to help. And that's so, like I said, it was so key. And yes, when it comes to getting somebody out of a situation, I'm reiterating the point you made. Don't make it your decision. Let them come to that decision. Let them come to terms with things. Because we as friends or family, we want to help and we want to literally drag them out or harness them out the window. And it's not our decision to make. It really is theirs, and they have to be ready to make that decision and obviously have like what you're going to explain, a backup plan,
Yeah.
what you should
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. I made my plans. I didn't have anybody to tell me to get out. They recognized what was happening. I left. I think it about the fourth time when he hit me, I decided I've had enough now. This ain't happening. I'm not going down that road. I've been there. I've had it. I'm not losing my life, you know. And I made my decision. And as I said before, the first thing I made sure is that I could trust. Trust is a big thing. Trust. Who can I trust?
Mm-hmm.
And I knew who I could trust, and I made sure my passport was out of the house. First thing first, my passport and my birth certificate. Those two things are important. They are you. So you can't do anything without your passport if you want to leave the country, and you can't do anything without your birth certificate because you need that to prove who you are, one or the other. Okay? So you have to put your plan in place. I wouldn't tell anybody or try to get anybody out because it will always fall back on you, as you said, Carolina. They will blame you because they are so scared of the abuser. They will blame you, and you become the person that is ostracized, and all the bad stuff have to say about you. So no, get them to do the work. Get them. They have got to do the work in order to heal and in order to safeguard themselves and to come out of it. They have got to do the groundwork. You can point them in the right direction, but even then, you want to be careful of pointing them. You can say, okay, why don't you go and do this? Look online, do whatever. But again, if they get caught, oh, it's Verna that told me to do this. They have got to come to the realization that,
Yeah.
hey, I need to do something.
Mm-hmm.
They need to take it upon themselves and do what they need to do. So they need to educate themselves. So as much education we can give them, we need to do that. And that's why we are here. That's why we are talking about it, so that you could be aware of what actions you need to take. What preventative measures do I need to take to get myself out of this situation? And that's some of the things you need to do. Support. So if you have support, go to it. So create that safety plan. When you create that safety plan, make a decision, because you know what? A lot of people make the decision to leave and then they go back in the relationship and they never get out.
Yeah, and some do, but not with a life.
No. So you want to be sure.
Yeah.
You want to be certain. And somebody beating you up and down, left, right, and center. What are you going back for?
Mm-hmm.
Your life is a gift. Life is a gift, and you don't want to give up on your life. So when you make that plan might be might be, I need to pack a bag and hide it somewhere. Yeah, you need to pack a bag and put it somewhere where the abuser won't look. You have got to know your surroundings, so you have to have that awareness.
Mm.
And pack, as I said, pack your essentials.
Mm.
Those two things I told you, those were my essentials. Clothes you can get from somewhere.
Mm.
Toothbrush and toothpaste you can get from somewhere. You can take a stick, granny, and you can brush your teeth. You understand? You
Yeah,
can get
yeah.
soap
It's
and
true.
water.
It's
You can get, but
true.
your
Sometimes
life you
we think
can.
about we think about, oh, it's like I'm going to go on holiday. I'm going to pack a very big suitcase and I'm going to have this and A and B and C. That's not
Yeah,
happening. Not once you make that
yeah.
decision.
Yeah, yeah. So, have a code, have an emergency number, have something that
Written down.
yeah, you can get without having, because I remember as well, let me say this, I remember as well, when I left the house, he came to search me to see what I had on me,
Wow.
and I had nothing. I made sure I had nothing because I knew that was going to happen. He's going
Mm.
to search me to make sure. The thing he took was the house keys. Okay, even though it was my apartment,
Wow.
took my keys off me so I can't get back in.
Wow.
Yeah. So be careful. Don't have anything on you. Make sure everything is out, and you will find the time to get it out. He's not always there. The person is, whether it's he or she, they're not always there 24/7. So you will find the time, but you have to be very careful about what you do and how you go about it.
Mhm.
Okay, seek professional help. Seek professional help, because now it is, we have so much help around. Long ago there wasn't all that much help. There were help, but you were not knowledgeable about those things. Okay, so there is enough help around, so seek help, and that will really help you, and that would really guide you. So reach out to professionals. There are lots of different professional organizations that will give you the support that you need. I think I did some research, and there were like 243 different um, female outreach out there, and very few for men. 240 something. And I think it was about five for men. You see, so there is a big disparity. Yes, I know women get women abuse happen to women more.
Mm.
But in order for us to break that cycle, we have got to bring both male and female together so that they can understand the importance of one another, the important part that each play in a relationship, each play in a family, in a community.
Mhm.
Okay, one hand don't clap. You need them both.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say? Because this is a long topic. And so I don't think we're going to get through it all, because we still have another part of it, which is what steps would you take to encourage the abuser to get help? Because we need to encourage him, and we need to be calm, because I knew I did that. I encourage, when he hit me and then he turned around and said, "Oh, I love you." I'm like, huh? What? You just hit me and you're telling me you love me? Do you understand what love is?
Mhm.
Do you know the meaning of that word? But I had to be careful how I said it, what tone I used,
Mhm.
and what did my features look like when I
Mm.
was saying it.
Wow. Yeah.
So I couldn't be mocking him. You understand? I couldn't be doing it in a mocking way. I couldn't be doing it in a way that, will create more rage. So there's another area we want to talk to you about. But right now, we need to bring this to an end. So I want to say, as you can see, the topic is really in depth, and we want to give you all the information that you need to safeguard you, so you know the preventative measures that you need to take to avoid that. I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank you for being here. I know some of you are listening on Instagram, and some of you are on YouTube. So I just want to give you thanks for being here with us and listening. For those of you who are listening in the background, I want to thank you as well. I do have a program called Unstoppable Resilience, 3 powerful practices to take your power back, because you have that power within you. You have that power. It is an online program which you can do, take on your own time, but you have me as well with that program where I will come on and do one-to-one coaching with you and help to guide you, give you that insight. So we do some insight coaching where you get the insight and you need that powerful questioning. So it's that questioning, but the transformation will have to come from you. We'll work together so that you can have that transformation that you need and that you require. So there you have it. I am here to be a guide, to be a help for you. So is Carolyn because she works with um, parents, single parents. She works with single parents. I work with women and men who need somebody to be there with them, who need somebody to hold their hands and walk them through it, who need to build that resilience, who need to know what to do, when to do it, and how to go about. So you need to know the who, the what, the when, the why, and the how. Yeah. So I want to thank you for being here with us. And we'll see you next time when we come to talk to you about the steps to encourage an abuser to seek help, the steps that you need to take as the abusee. How are you going to do that? I think before I just say bye, is there anything else you want to say about that bit, Carolina? Did you have to use that?
Yeah, no, I definitely would like to tune into that one. That one is one of the things that I found the most difficult. Like you say, you just fall into this loop where you don't know it's happening, and once you're in it, and the person recognizes, begins to realize, oh, something's wrong, or I do love you, I do want to fix it. What we can do to take those steps to change that. It's so important. If they do, I actually know of people that have been abusive or abusers that are no longer abusive or abusers, and they've managed to change their life around and their families around as well. So I know that it can happen, so it's not that it's impossible, but there has to
Mhm.
be acknowledgement and a willpower to do so.
Yeah, yeah. There have to be a willingness. Yeah, so thank you everyone for being here with us. We will come back to you and speak with you on another occasion about the steps you need to take to encourage them to seek help. So take care, have a good evening, and we speak to you soon. God bless.